So they have to plan their route in those 15 minutes, and then they get started. Looks like we're doing it.
And we are going to start out and grab that hookshot in Sanctuary right away. Whereas Chelsea is opting to go to Link's house first, and I know the screen's a little bit obscured, but we have picked up the hammer. And we have some immediate route divergence, with Osse going into Kakariko with the hookshot, and Chelsea going into the the front of Escape with the hammer.
Yep.
Which, because we know where everything is, that indicates to us that there is an important item sitting in the back of Escape. Although I would say that the boots are a much nicer time save for us.
Having the boots is, I mean, let's be fair. Anyone who's doing one of these spoiler log races is going to take the spoiler log and basically search boots first thing. It's like, how do I get faster? That's how we do it. And we have a glove there in the top of Blind's hut.
Yep, so Blind's hut is loaded today. Got the boots, silvers, and a glove. Very nice. And we are going to have Osse pick up the first sword in Kakariko Well, as well as a bottle.
And Osse now going to pick up the flute, which is likely going to activate fairly soon. He's also going to pick up another item here in the back of the tavern, though. And if you'll indulge me, I might have something prepared. Well, our runners will know all the places to go, and they'll put on a show of skill for you. And even though it's free, you still need to move quickly, and in go mode you'll be in a minute or two. Alright, so Osse's got the flute. Chelsea is now going to retrace Osse's steps, and pick up the boots and the glove and the sword and the flute and the lamp, I assume.
Yep, but she does have one extra item right now, the ice rod, which we did find in Zelda's cell. That lovely little item, always blocking you from go mode. Although fortunately, we can just, we know where it is, so it's not really an issue. Chelsea, please get the glove. Please get the glove. Oh no, oh no, oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
Like, she does have bombs. Anyways, we've got the Cane of Samaria in the well, or not in the well, in the race game. And Osse fluting to 4 and picking up that hammer. And now Osse is going to go for that item, it looks like.
Yeah, I agree with deciding to wait for this until a little bit later, just because you do have the boots and a sword makes going through Escape a good bit faster if you can dash through all these nice long corridors.
Absolutely. The more dashing down long, straight corridors you can have, the better your life is. Also, notably, Osse is making good use of that hookshot to get bombs. We did note that the stun drop today is a single bomb.
Yeah, so the spoiler log actually includes certain relevant information It includes tree poles, the stun prizes, some bush crab prizes as well. So you can use that information, which is commonly used at the start of the seed, typically to farm for bombs, but now we have access to that information so we can try and plan around it. And yeah, Kakariko is absolutely stacked. Like what? Well, how many items do we have in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I guess 9 if you count the bottle. So 8.5 progression items.
Are you counting silvers in that?
Yeah, I'm counting silvers. They're nice to have.
Okay. Okay, Chelsea did go back downstairs to get the glove. We were gonna have a problem on our hands otherwise. And are you also counting the race game as part of Kakariko?
Yeah, it's mostly in there.
Yeah, it's basically town. All right, so now oh, go ahead.
We get to see something new now. Having fully retraced all of their steps, both runners are nearly in the same place. Chelsea is about to go pick up some extra bombs and her Cane of Samaria, whereas Osse is now heading to the mountain.
Yep. Heading up to the mountain to pick up a few items here. There's often things here in Paradox Cave coming up. With that hookshot in hand, the Paradox Cave just seems that much more likely.
And Chelsea also going to the mountain as well. Unfortunately, getting blocked by a dead rock in the Waffle House. What a lovely location that is.
All right, so Osse heading into this lower/upper room and getting the Quake medallion as well as a piece of heart.
So you can see on the tracker that we have already marked all of the crystals, pendants, and medallion requirements. Since we won't actually be getting checks for those, the runners already know what they are. So you can see that Turtle Rock is a crystal, and it does require the Quake medallion for entry, and therefore this is required.
We will also be needing the Bombos medallion to get into Misery Mire. And there's our fire rod as well here in Paradox Cave. I'll say lining up for the bomb jump. And he is heading up to the top of Death Mountain, so he could be going to Spiral Cave or heading over to Tower of Hera. It looks like Hera is on the menu. I mean, you can finish it right now, though a lot of people would like to save Hera until before Ganon's Tower. The fact that Osse is heading in there now indicates there might be something of value in here.
Like this half magic. I mean, half magic's always nice, right?
I mean, I wouldn't say no to it if it was literally right there.
But you know, it's not really enough of a prize to come all the way out here. So there is probably something more waiting for us here. After all, there are 2 items. And the big key is in the tile room, so we have to play the waiting game. Get a little bit of a break, you know, like 9 minutes into the seed. Definitely when you want it.
Well, I mean, that's halfway through the seed, right?
Yeah, these spoiler races are usually fairly short, averaging anywhere from around 45 minutes to an hour. I wouldn't say this is halfway in, but it is a decent chunk into the seed, surprisingly.
Right, of course. Alright, so Osse finishing off the tiles and heading into the big key room, which at this point we have to assume contains the big key. And lack of mirror means that Osse is going to have to, die his way out of here.
And Chelsea has finished with her coffee break. Heading over to the torch room now. And is going to not take a death warp. Instead going to choose to walk back out.
Though, I think you want to hit that switch before you leave.
It's okay. You can hit it with a fire rod.
Ah, yeah, that's true. Right, grabbing the compass there.
The chests in the spoiler log are usually named a little bit weirdly, not super descriptive, so possibly, well, I mean, if you're gonna mix that up with the big chest containing the flippers,
the big chest is called the big chest, so... But yeah, the flippers there in the big chest, pretty important here, as Swamp is a crystal.
Chelsea not going to get that compass chest, instead going to hookshot and boots bonk back across, which is significantly faster than doing the bomb jump. Nice little couple second time save right there.
Yep, so these runners are kind of right on each other's heels at this point. I'll say picking up the crystal from Tower of Hera. We will see what happens next. I don't know if anyone's going to head anywhere else. Looks like we're just going to flute away.
Yeah, at this point we can't really do anything more on the mountain except go to Spiral Cave.
Spiral Cave, you could like potion your way through Spike Cave or something, but I don't think so. Alright, and it looks like Osse is heading for the hobo, so there must be something relevant there. The hobo is kind of out of the way otherwise. I mean, I don't think there's many scenarios where I would head to the hobo if it didn't have something necessary. I'd say that's necessary.
Yeah, only a little bit. You only need mitts to get to 3 of the dungeons, and also Ganon's Tower. So Chelsea is also going to go over to the hobo to pick up her mitts. I would say this is a fairly close so far. I would say it's only been separated by Chelsea deciding to go to escape first, which was a little bit slower, and then also the minor mistake of forgetting to pick up the gloves in the back of Blind's hut, which cost a decent amount of time.
And there's our moon pearl we see on the ledge Zora's ledge. So there we go. That explains why the Tower of Hera was such a high priority here.
Yeah, definitely useful to pick that up.
Yeah, we were talking before the race about the potential strategy here, and we were convinced that our runners were going to go sequence break the Pearl, but yeah, if you have to go up to Death Mountain anyway to pick up the flippers for Swamp, you might as well just do that when you have the chance.
Yeah, I just like glitches. I just want people to do more glitches.
More glitches is always appreciated. So it looks like Osse is now going to go into the Dark World. Now we note that Thieves Town is a pendant. So, unless there's something important in Thieves Town, we may not go in. I'll say heading into the C-shaped house.
In a spoiler race, since you do know where everything is, you want to route in things like swords fairly early. Makes things a lot easier.
Yeah, the more swords you have, the better. And it does look like Osse is going to take a dip into Thieves. So we've got some items, or something we might want to find in here.
Okay, so I was actually wrong. Chelsea didn't pick up the Candace Amaria. Oops. Just doing it now. I assume that she did because she was going south before going back to pick up the gloves. So that is a good reroute on the fly in order to do this a little bit later. It does save a little bit of time.
Speaking of on the fly, Osse just flew over and got himself a giant sword. So 2 swords in the space of like half a second.
Though clearly he's not just in here for the sword, heading over to the back of Thieves Town now.
Yep, very important items still in here, I imagine.
And Chelsea is opting to skip out on Thieves Town for now, instead going to the south.
And Chelsea looks like they're going to Mr. Stumpsman over here, who also has a sword. So that's the location of all 4 swords. So what do you think the odds are that that Osse picks up that 4th sword?
Practically none. It would... I mean, okay. It would hypothetically save time, but not very much time.
Yeah. I mean, if you have to go by there, it might be worth it. But that's only if you really know the strats for that. Like, you can save some time on... or make things easier on Argus. You can save a little bit of time on Trinex. And it also makes Ganon easier, but there's not really much time saved from that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say if you didn't have to go past there, I wouldn't bother picking it up.
And we see, I'll say, picking up another heart container from the chest next to Blind. So I'm guessing Blind has an item we're looking for.
Or maybe it's the pedestal.
Alright, so Chelsea has just gone full sword.
I mean,
Picked
gold
up
sword's
every
nice.
single sword.
It's nice to have. I wouldn't say no to it, per se, but...
And there's the bow!
It has at last been revealed why we are in this dungeon, just to get that all-essential bow. Ooh, Chelsea taking a death. A little bit rough with only 3 hearts trying to get through Thieves.
So Osse picked up 2 additional hearts, it looks like. Oh, and he is going for that gold sword. Alright, so Osse looks to be heading over to the Hype Cave area. And he is going to head to Hype Cave. Let's see what we find here. Clearly something of note.
Maybe it's just hearts.
Could be. Well, we've got bombs. Nothing wrong with free bombs. 20 rupees, a mail upgrade, and he's not getting anything else out of that.
No comment.
So, I do like me some mail. upgrade.
Yeah, the armor's definitely worth it. And it is a spoiler race where we're running around with like 5 hearts. Where is Bombos? We will find out where Bombos is when the runners pick up Bombos.
So Osse picks up yet another heart container in the Mire shed. And Osse is heading to Misery Mire, but it doesn't look like he has the medallion to get in.
Yeah. That might be a small issue. Looks like possibly his route was not designed for this.
So Osse heading back to the swamp area. Let's see what he finds.
Going back into Hype Cave. Maybe he forgot something.
Oh boy.
And something he has forgotten apparently how to read. So now we have acquired the book. And the book only does a couple of things. So, what is desert access and the tablets, and that's it.
I would say Vanilla Bombos tablet, but we'd need the mirror for that.
And Chelsea picking up that bow. Yeah, he can now read his notes. Yeah. So he is heading into Desert Palace now.
So, I imagine, well, you never know. It might be faster, depending on how he goes. Like, I think we have to assume he's coming in here to get something necessary to get him to the Mire entrance, because he was so interested in that. So it's probably Bombos, right?
Maybe. Maybe it's also Shovel leading to Powder leading to Bombos. Or maybe it could just be Bombos.
Could be. Yeah, so that...
And
I actually thought
leave.
that... I actually thought that might be what Osse does. Chelsea... Looks like Chelsea's doing the same thing.
And gonna go into Mire Shed and then leave Mire Shed. And then Rage Slash a little bit. I don't know. So it looks like you have to get the book to go into to do this. It's like there's no mirror available earlier that would make the routing better. I guess she was just looking up stuff in the spoiler log to find where to go.
Yep. Alright, so Osse has now entered Misery Mire. He's on blue mail and 6 hearts with the gold sword. And Chelsea is headed, looking like, to the Hype Cave. Looks like that book is calling her name. Right, Chelsea picking up the blue mail and the book as well. Osse grabbing the one free key under the pot and gonna go get through Misery Mire as quickly as possible, I imagine. But yeah, I was actually thinking when Osse went to Desert that, you know, if he's hell bent on heading to Misery Mire, he'll probably just quit, and then once he finishes Mire, mirror to the back of Desert.
Yeah, that's what you would expect from a kind of standard routing, but
I mean, that assumes he finds the mirror, of course.
Yeah. Oh, hey, there's the mirror.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It turns out...
I totally was not spoiling the entire thing.
Yeah, okay. So this seed, the whole placement here is just kind of really annoying. So you have to get the book out of Hype Cave. So then you can go to, you have to get the book so you can go to Desert to get Bombos, so you can go into Mire to get the mirror. You can't skip the book. Just why? Which would explain why both of our runners forgot about it. Having it's not super common that book is specifically forced in a spoiler log seed, because you can always try and get the mirror earlier, but well, turns out it was forced this time, and not for like Dark World access or anything.
Interestingly enough, Chelsea heading to the big key chest of Desert. I think they might have, or she might have misread big key chest as big chest.
Yeah, that happens a lot. When you're reading the spoiler log and you're trying to go fast, pick up all the item locations, then you can misread some stuff. And since it is in the big chest, and big chest looks like a big key chest, and we should really change these names because they are very confusing. Anyway, we have Osse coming up on Vitreous, who will go down without much of a fight because we have those silver arrows.
Yep, not even enough time to fire one lightning bolt, and 2 arrows, finishing off Vitreous and switching to that mirror before the fight is over. So getting ready to finish off Desert. Meanwhile, Chelsea is going to finish off Desert while she's here.
Yeah, I think Osse has very slightly better micro routing here, since getting the mirror is a little bit... getting the mirror and then being able to mirror over is a little bit faster than dashing out of Desert and heading over. So we can get just a couple seconds of time save, and may not seem like a lot, but in this kind of race, as opposed to a typical rando race where routing is a fairly large factor, here we can see that the runners' routes have been nearly identical so far, just because they have access to all of the information. And so that kind of small time save, like a couple seconds, even half a second, or a few frames, that adds up over the long run.
All right. I'll say now heading through the back of Desert, as well as Chelsea, both in roughly in the same location. So I'm looking at Osse's rupee count right now, and I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna need like 6 more. That's it.
Yeah,
but
it'll be fine. It'll be fine. You'll get
I imagine you'll get them at some point, and if nothing else, you can emergency route them in or something.
Super emergency route is at the second tier tree pole, which is the one that is currently active for both of the runners, since they have killed at least 4 enemies, unsurprisingly, and have taken damage, also unsurprisingly. It is the second tree pole which is active, which has the blue rupee as its reward. So if he knows that, he can pull a tree somewhere and get that money.
Well, that'll do. Alright, so with that mirror in hand, I mean, that's like straight go mode, right?
Yes, that is go mode. We are now in go mode, and we will be go moding the rest of the dungeons, of which there are 4.
Alright, so I imagine Swamp will be first, which is basically everyone's favorite thing to go mode. Well, that nice.
Now, there are a couple of optional safeties that Osse could pick up in Swamp Palace. A few heart containers lying around. Okay,
there's where he routed
gonna
in the money.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Actually, it's actually faster than a triple.
Good call. Grabbing that first chest, of course, because got to be able to get in the door. And then from this point on, I'll say probably just going to run through. But as you said, there are a couple of potential safeties in here.
And Chelsea picks up the Mirror in Mire, which will be her go mode. Although go mode is a little bit less meaningful of a term in a spoiler race, considering you know where everything is, so technically you're in go mode from the very start of the race. So at this point, Osse is a Mire completion and then some of Swamp Palace ahead, which is a pretty significant time lead. Since the runners actually are allowed in this format to watch both the restream and their opponents' streams, because there is no information that they can really gain. They know where all the items are already. So if Osse is watching the restream or Chelsea's stream, he can see that he has a significant time lead, which might make him consider grabbing some of the slightly more out-of-the-way safeties, whereas he might skip them normally if it was a tighter race.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, for example, he is going to dash down to this flooded room here and pick up this heart container and this bottle,
potion.
which are, they're a little bit out of the way, so maybe if it was a tighter race, you would not go for it. But since he has this time lead, he is willing to go down and grab them. Also, Chelsea apparently attempted to do the spooky action glitch in Mire, but unfortunately did not get the setup. Is going to have to take the longer way now. Throwing a bomb, doing all these extra menus.
Alright, Osse entering the Argus fight with the gold sword. This is a very nice fight because you can actually just kind of hold out the sword and start using your hook shot as fast as you can.
Looks like he's still doing poke dashes actually, which he does not actually have to do. Since gold sword deals tempered poke damage, you can just hold it out, no need for poke dashing. Meanwhile, Chelsea over here is on Vitreous, who will go down with approximately as little fight as Osse's Vitreous did. Hers gets in one lightning bolt cycle, so a little bit slower, but still a fairly good fight.
Alright, so there is Swamp completed. So we've got Pod and Ice and Turtle Rock. Looks like Pod is next on Osse's mind.
Also, it should be noted that Osse picked up a heart container from Argus, which is, while it's a safety, it's also completely unavoidable. So, does that really count as a safety if you can't choose to avoid it?
I mean, it's a free safety, which I think is a position in football.
I don't know. I wouldn't have any idea.
Or at least the American football. Anyway. Moving on to Palace of Darkness. Both runners headed to Palace of Darkness. Although Chelsea still needs to go to Swamp. We'll be seeing these runners kind of doing a side-by-side comparison of their run. It looks like Osse is going to head to the first chest on the left here.
And for good reason, for this chest contains the big key of the dungeon.
And can't really beat the dungeon without the big key, so it does look like we have to head to the right.
Considering this is a spoiler race, we know where all of the keys are in the dungeon. And it is actually guaranteed that there will be one key on the right side of the dungeon. So we can just head straight to Helmasaur, which is not something you get to see too often. A perfect go mode pod, where you get the big key in the first chest there, and then the small key up here, and you don't have to open anything else.
Yeah. It is not true that in general there will be a small key over here every time, but when the big key is in the first chest, there will always be a small key over here. That's for sure.
Yeah, or any non-key item, an item which is not literally a small key. You will always have a small key over on this side.
Perfect.
And Chelsea doing the same thing, about to come up on the same room. And Chelsea is going to opt to open the map chest, which contains a blue potion. Very, very nice safety. Refills all of your health, which is pretty important considering Chelsea only has 4 hearts right now. Which Osse actually decided to pass up, despite the fact that it is about a 1-second time loss to pick up.
Well, he does already have another potion, so maybe he just feels completely okay.
That's possible, I suppose. Also, Chelsea skipped half magic, which is like a really free and very, very nice safety to have, since it was in the basement cage of Hera, which does not take very long to get to. So I am kind of surprised, actually, that Chelsea is skipping so many safeties, not getting hearts or half magic or too many bottles beyond that one.
Well, I mean, maybe she feels like her initial play of not getting the boots as early, or, missing the glove just kind of put her way behind, and she's like, I can't waste any time.
Yeah, perhaps that kind of thinking comes in as well, since you can really feel like, oh, I'm behind because I didn't do this route as optimally as I could have. And when you have mistakes like missing the glove, which cost you so much time in a spoiler race, then that you get to that kind of thinking where you have to skip safeties in order to make up that time.
I'll say taking down the Helmasaur King, getting another free heart.
And now, presumably, Osse is going to Ice Palace, because that is the next dungeon on our completion list.
Yeah, you would definitely go to Ice before you went to Turtle Rock, as Turtle Rock is on the way to Ganon's Tower. So Ice Palace, of course, another blink and you miss it dungeon, at least as far as go mode goes. Walk in, grab some... Walk in, hit a switch, make a bomb jump, kill a Freezy Puff, and you're done. There's a few steps in the middle, but
Yep. So for those of you just coming in, about 40 minutes into the race, this is a spoiler log race in which the runners get 15 minutes before the race officially begins to plan out their route and safeties using the spoiler log of the seed. So what we are seeing here is what the runners judge to be the best possible route, which factors in safeties and as fast as they can go through the seed.
Alright, so Chelsea now making her way into Swamp. This will be a quick dungeon for her as well. Meanwhile, I'll say making his way into Basement 2 of Ice Palace, coming up on the famous / infamous / if nothing else, super important, Ice Palace Bomb Jump.
Unfortunately, missing the spin setup right there. So going to have to set it up again. And he does get the bomb jump on the second try. Not bad.
Mm-hmm. Very nice spin in the bowling room there. Though I have been told if you have the gold sword, it's actually potentially faster to dash through them in a certain way.
Okay, so Osse just went for one of the coolest looking strats in the game where you do a spin attack through that staircase. Unfortunately, he missed the pixel alignment because it is a pixel perfect trick to actually save any time, and got a little bit shoved around by the stairs and the ice.
I mean, those stairs are the true final boss of the game, right?
And just blowing the strat. There are some nice strats for it, especially with the boots and the hammer. Makes it really easy.
Do you mean the spin trick or just getting down the stairs?
And just getting down the stairs.
Oh yeah, getting down the stairs is fine if you have boots and things like that. It's actually pretty easy. It's just casually, it's like, excuse me, why am I not going down these stairs?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's just like, why? And that was a very clean, quick kill from Osse coming out on cold stair, shooting 8 fire rod shots and then 4 gold sword attacks, and he's just gone.
Yeah, I guess cold stair is another good reason to pick up that gold sword, because although you'll have extra fire rod magic and all that mess, 4 slashes with the gold sword is just hard to beat on cold stair.
Yeah.
Chelsey picking up another heart and that potion in the back of Swamp as well. Meanwhile, Osse is heading for Turtle Rock.
So Chelsey is coming up here on the Argus fight. Let's see what she opts to do here. Just hooks and slashes. Not bad.
Yep, hooks and slashes. That'll get you there with either the gold sword or the tempered sword. Of course, if you have the master sword or worse, you're going to have to do more than just that.
And
nice triple fire rod / spin strap.
Yep. The hooking and slashing actually doesn't lose that much time. It's a fairly fast strat compared to actually going for the hook dashes and failing. It will usually cost you a little bit more time than that. So that was a...
Oh, sorry.
Hmm?
The hook dash costs you
you
time because you have to spend time like hitting the dash button to get your sword back, and then
you just have to reposition yourself afterwards. So just going for that is a very consistent and not too slow strategy.
All right, Osse now into Turtle Rock, doing the fast torch strat. Not gonna lie, I have on many occasions gone into that room forgetting I didn't have the hook shot and wasted a bunch of time doing that.
Oh yeah, that's always not fun. Is going to have to wait out the rollers coming back though, because no invincibility item that we have, and it is a little bit hard to do the damage boost strat for that room when you don't have a guaranteed fairy to heal yourself like in the vanilla speedrun.
Right. I mean, so let's be fair. I only recently found out that was a thing. But yeah, apparently it gets set up all the way back in Castle Tower or something.
Yeah, prize pack manipulation. I'm not gonna go into it too much here, but suffice it to say that might become relevant in Randomizer soon.
Uh-oh. Alright, Chelsea working on the bomb jump. Having a few issues here as well. She's not the only one, though, so...
Third try bomb jump.
And Osse getting that key and piecing out.
So again, yeah, we do know the locations of every key. We know the locations of every item, but very, very important is key routing in the various dungeons. And Turtle Rock especially, because you need to judge whether it's okay to skip keys, whether you can try and skip certain rooms to get a faster key somewhere else. Like, you,
So like Osse just did here, skipping the big chest, because there's probably not a key there.
I mean, there actually is a key in the big chest, but he knows that he doesn't need it.
Okay then. So yeah, I'm not sure which is faster actually, to go to the big chest real quick, or to go to the laser bridge. It depends on where on laser bridge, I guess.
Well, no, going to laser bridge is definitely faster. I was thinking that you were going to say the difference between getting the pokey key and getting the big chest key, which is actually questionable, maybe. I'm still thinking that the pokey key is faster as long as you have a decent sword to kill the pokey quickly. Speaking of decent swords and quick kills, that was also a very nice quick kill on Cold Stare from Chelsea.
Alright, there's that small key on laser bridge for Osse, and he's gonna go face off against Trinex. Oh, I know why I keep thinking laser bridge might be slower. It's because it takes me about 6 tries to get the laser skip.
That's fair.
Oh, we are seeing the backdoor strats for Trinex here. Looks like it might be a little slow for the zero cycle.
Yeah, he canceled his dash into the fire head, or I guess it's the ice head, a little bit early. So he didn't actually get the damage there, which I believe cost him the zero cycle.
But still a very solid one-cycle Trinex, and that's going to do it.
So, I see already the numbers coming out in chat. It turns out that because we have access to the spoiler, doing the big key guessing game is not really a super interesting prospect. The runners already know where it's going to be, so it winds up being like always 1 or 4 every time. But what you can do instead is to guess the location of the big key with the room's name rather than the number.
Always rando room, always, yeah.
Always rando room 4 out of 22 of the time.
Fair enough.
So Osse is now a full Total Rock ahead of Chelsea going into GT while she's going into Total Rock, which is a very big lead, especially for a spoiler race. So that means that he has quite a bit of time if he wants to take it easy in GT, maybe like take a few slightly slower, slightly safer strats. That is a difficult phrase to pronounce. Slightly
Speaking
slower,
of-
slightly safer.
Speaking of slightly slower, slightly safer strats, if I were Osse in this situation, I might have picked up that shield on the torch. Because he got one for free from Trinex, and then he'd have a second one, and he could use it to fend off some of those fireballs as he goes up.
Yeah, it's pretty much only useful in Landmost 2, because there's that fireball shooter in there, which always ruins my quick kills, but it is not terrible to have in that room, especially because the fireballs will still deal 100 damage. So Chelsea did take another death in the roller room, going to have to run back. The hookshot strat worked a lot better that time.
All right, so Osse heading through Gannonball Run. Very
oh my
nice.
god, that was super clean. I hate that room. I can never get the good patterns.
Yeah, I think to actually get that consistently across with the dash, you have to be able to recognize the RNG pattern of the balls and figure out exactly what you have to do in every situation. And it's like a slight, subtle difference between each one. Chelsea taking another death in the Chain Chomp room. Chain Chomps are jerks. I think we're all on the same page with that one.
Yeah, Turtle Rock, especially when you have only 7 hearts, it's a rough time. The enemies here all do like 3 hearts of damage.
So Osse did let one of the Landmos by, so that's going to take a little bit of extra time, but Landmo 2 down. Osse currently on 7 arrows, but luckily should not need another arrow for the rest of the dungeon. Pretty good second Wizrobe room. I know that the goal there is to actually hit that one in the top right before he fires his projectile, because otherwise you had to wait for it to despawn before the door opens. Not saying I could do it consistently, I'm just saying that's the goal.
Yep, definitely the goal. Although you can actually run into the projectile to make it despawn a little bit faster.
Ah.
I mean, if you're willing to take like 3 hearts of damage.
Fair enough. Alright, Osse heading to Moldorm 2. Gonna break through this wall. And we'll be ready to finish this off. Not even bothering with the magic refill.
Yeah, he doesn't need it. He has half magic, he'll be fine.
Yeah, especially if he can pull off the torch glitch, no issues there. He's got enough for, I think, 7 fire rod shots?
Yeah, absolutely, he'll be fine. Although he might not even go for torch glitch, since it is a little bit faster, actually, if you have silvers to not do torch glitch.
Yeah, I guess because you can get in a good hit on the very first move there.
Yeah, lining up doubles and triples is much easier, since you can stun him more easily in the center of the room.
Ooh, the triple on Aga. And a double, so very nicely done. And
3
that'll
cycle.
do it.
Quite, very good, although, I suspect that a 2 cycle might have been possible if he was in the right position. He wound up being on the right side of the room instead of the left, so it wouldn't have been doable. But still, a 3 cycle is very good.
So I personally, Quark, I have enjoyed the spoiler log tournament. I enjoyed doing the qualifiers, even though I was awful it's an interesting idea.
Yeah, the focus on execution makes it very different from a lot of other randomizer races where the focus tends to get put on routing a lot more. Even though I would argue that execution is just as important as routing, it becomes very apparent in this sort of race where it's like 90% of what you're doing.
Absolutely. I'll say, of course, finishing a couple of one-cycle Ganon phases there into Phase 3. Chelsea did have a solid Trinex. Alright, gets the torch glitch and can set up for, well, just a single shot there, but this will be a double, and that'll do it. And Osse has finished.
With the official SOL race time of 56 minutes and 21 seconds when accounting for the additional 15 minutes of study time, since that gets added into the front of the time in the SOL channel. But really it is 56:21, finishing in a sub-hour seed. Very nice.
Very, very nicely done. Meanwhile, we've got ChelseyxLynn also about to finish off Ganon's Tower, picking up those keys and big keys, some hearts along the way. And it does sound like we have now been joined by our winner today, Osse. Congratulations!
Thank you. Thank you.
So 56:21 on that time. So how'd you feel about that?
It's a good time. Like, we had to do all of a pendant dungeon. It's still well under an hour, so like the time is good. The seed itself felt very friendly.
I mean, I would argue, except for the book Bombos Mire chain.
Yeah, that was a bit of a trip. Well, 2 trips even.
Well, both of you tried to go into Misery Mire without bombos, so that was a thing that was pretty solid for both players. A lot of people, like, in fact, it was very difficult for us to even notice that was going to happen.
Yeah, we were reviewing the log before the race started, and we didn't even notice that you had to do that for a while until I believe Bob Tastic pointed it out to the rest of us.
Yeah, I was close to getting it to work, but I just forgot about the book.
Pretty solid altogether. I mean, you had the silvers early. You had all the swords you could possibly stand once you got to the Dark World, and the free armor upgrade. Everything was pretty solid as far as being safe goes.
Yeah, very friendly seed. So I like getting gold sword even, because I'm not great at the quick boss kills on tempered. So if I can, I like to get gold.
Yeah, fair enough.
And here it was on my route, so it
yeah,
out.
Pretty much free.
Yeah, one thing we were noticing is when you were fighting Argus, it looked like you were still trying to do the dash pokes, when with the gold sword you don't even need to dash.
Yeah, I only heard that you didn't have to do dash pokes the other day. So I've just always been doing it.
Yeah, I mean, that's perfectly fine. If you can pull it off and you're and you've got it down, then why bother?
Yeah, practice is practice.
Yeah, your execution was fairly good throughout the entire seed.
And
I would
this,
say.
of course, over here on your screen, I'll say, made me super sad. With the powder being on the pedestal. But that's just me.
No, didn't need powder this seed. We had 2 bottles on the path.
Yeah. There
Yeah,
was
plus-
actually a third one that you skipped that had a blue potion in it.
Yeah, that's more
that
what
was
I
right in your
referring
path.
to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the other one had a bee in it. Bee in a red potion, so.
Yeah, I figured
that's-
I'd already never used the red potion, so why pick up another?
Yeah. Also,
Fair enough.
the bee was important for more than just being a bottle. It was also because you needed to get the flute.
Right.
Yep, very nice spot for the bottle.
All right, ChelseyxLynn has made her way into the final climb to Aga Tower, or Aghanim. What the? And so Chelsea getting a double there. So Osse, so the brackets are there's more than. Sorry, I'm. Don't pay any attention to me.
Okay. See, I guess I don't really follow how my opponent is doing in these. I more so play against myself. Get as fast a time as I can with what I'm comfortable with.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, these are a best of 3 series, right?
Yeah.
So you still got. This is the first, right? So this will be one for you.
Yes. This is the first. Then our next match is Monday night, same time.
All right. So once again, it'll be a pretty interesting setup here. So I think the having a best of 3 format for this is pretty good. I mean, I was happy that happened because one, these races are going to be a lot faster, so fitting 3 of them isn't as hard, and 2, in a game all about execution, you don't feel bad about having to win more than one.
Yeah, you have to take a lot of risks in these. Like I did a 4-heart Thieves Town, which isn't the safest thing.
Yeah, very true. I think Chelsea did 3-heart Thieves Town.
Yeah, she had 3 hearts going in, picked up 4th one in blind cell. She wound up having, I believe, 2 fewer hearts than you at the end.
Yeah, after Mire, I felt that I didn't need any more hearts, but picked up more anyway.
Yeah, some of them were unavoidable.
Yeah, the bottle vendor hearts, like it was easy to get, but it also messed up my ruby routing. So I spent a lot of time looking for rubies when I didn't really need to, because
Yeah.
pod was so late.
I mean, you found you finally went, oh, the 50 rupees in Swamp, now we're good. Yeah, so Chelsea finishing here with an official overall time of 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 8 seconds. So pretty solid from Chelsea as well. Between the two of you, you averaged under an hour.
Yeah, that's kind of my...
No, it's slightly over. I'm bad.
Like, one of my goals is to always be under an hour.
Yeah, I think that's a fair goal to have. It's not always possible if you get like a pedestal, horrible pedestal spoiler seed. It might still not be possible to be under an hour, but yeah, sub-hour is usually a fairly good time.
Speaking of fairly good time, we are now joined by ChelseyxLynn. How you doing?
Oh, I'm just peachy.
As the screen shows.
Yeah. I forgot! It wasn't on my restream thing. I'm so sorry. I was in such a hurry. I got home like 3 minutes before we were supposed to start, so I was a little stressed.
Yeah, that makes sense.
My bad.
Yeah, so this seed, kind of threw swords at you for free, and a lot of pretty easy things in there. Both of you got a little bit tripped up by the book situation.
Okay, I'm glad that wasn't just me.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I need to get the mirror, and then I can go to desert. Wait a minute.
I actually forgot to route in Bombos entirely, but I happened to go into Hype Cave, so it looked like I knew what I was doing, but then I forgot book.
Yeah, I noticed you tried to go up to the Mire entrance with Quake, and you're like, wait a second, that's not the Quake icon. And then you're like, okay, I need to get everything now very fast.
Yeah, I knew about Bombos, but I was all like, I don't know. I was in such a weird frame of mind. And like, I thought I had the mirror, but obviously I didn't. I was like, okay, remind me where the mirror is again. Okay, it's in Mire. I can't get into Mire. Where's Bombos again? Desert? Okay.
Yeah, this whole sequence was... Yeah, the whole sequence was very tricky. I got caught by it when I was first looking at the log before the race. So, it's not just you. Even the commentators don't know how to do it.
Besides that, like, otherwise, like, everything was in a really easy to get location. Nothing, like, everything kind of fell into place. My biggest trip up was just... I played like not a person.
Well, I mean, you were fairly risky with the low heart situation there. I know you did Thieves Town with 3 hearts or something, or at least started with 3.
Yeah, it was super fun.
I imagine.
That wasn't everything. That was another thing that I kind of made a little mistakes on. I forgot that there was a sword in Thieves Town, and also Sea House before going to Stumpy. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I was wondering a little why you were.
Yeah, I totally could have just gone into Thieves Town, gotten the sword, and I would have been just fine with Master Sword. Like, Butter Sword was way overkill, but I did it.
I mean, your opponent went for the gold sword as well because it was there, and it was pretty free.
Yeah, I absolutely would have. Regardless, sorry.
I mean, at least picking up tempered there, I meant.
Yeah, no, I absolutely probably would have gone over to Stumpy because it was right there if I'd routed it smartly. But I just, in the moment, you only get 15 minutes, and you can't really perfectly route out every step of the way. So
the only other major divergence between you guys was the very opening where you decided to go for the ice rod right off the bat, whereas your opponent decided to go to Kakariko and grab the boots before heading there.
I want to say that wasn't an accident, but it absolutely was. I meant to go to Sank, but I clicked Link's house. I'm like, well, guess I'm committing to this. I mean, it really didn't make a huge difference, but... And then I also forgot to grab mitt or gloves in the back of Blind Hut.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, I just...
Fortunately, you remembered right at the last second. If you hadn't, that would have been pretty bad.
Yeah, I was looking at my items. I'm like, I think I'm down an item. And I'm like, I know exactly where it is.
Yeah,
I think I mixed up Blind Hut and Cackwell because I opened up Cackwell for no reason. So, whoopsie.
That explains a lot. Okay, so with that has been a pretty good race. I want to go ahead and thank both of our runners, Osse and ChelseyxLynn, for putting on an excellent show tonight. And I would like to thank our tracker extraordinaire, Verts. And of course, my co-commentator, Espion, who has been an excellent addition to this broadcast.
Thank you. And you have been an excellent co-com as well.
And of course, to everybody behind the scenes, thank you so much for that. Do our runners have anything else they'd like to say before we wrap things up?
No, I got nothing. Seed was actually the most generous one that I've seen generated off of the website, so it's not broken. That's good news.
Yep, I can agree with that.
Fair enough. All right. So, with that, I will just say that if you enjoyed what you saw here, the best way to help the people out involved is to give them a follow here on Twitch. I'm sure we'd all appreciate that quite a bit. And with that, I will just say I have been Dr. Bobtastic, and I will see you later.